All right, do you know what America's finest city and America's mile high city have in common? A lot more than you think. And I'm going to be going over all the comparisons between the two. I'm over here in San Diego right now. I know this is a Invest in Denver channel, but a lot of people that are hitting me up are actually from San Diego. So with me growing up here for 30 years of my life and staying in Denver for about almost 5 years now, I have a lot of good comparisons and trying to figure out what the differences are, what the similarities are, and things like that. So we're going to be going over all the comparisons from basements to no basements, the ocean views versus the mountain views, all that good stuff, and you get to take full advantage of my love for both of these cities. And I'd say the best cities in America, in my opinion, and that is not biased at all. So stick around, hang out. We'll be going to different neighborhoods between San Diego and Denver. And if you are used to one of the cities and all those neighborhoods, I will compare them to another likely or another like neighborhood in the other city. So stick around. I think this would be a pretty cool video for you. Welcome to Del Mar, California, one of the most beautiful beaches and ever popular amongst just Americans in general. What a beautiful beach scene. People are surfing here. It's currently Friday, midday, and people are out on the beach right behind you. I'll give a shot right here, but it's a beautiful scene and I honestly can't get enough of it. I went to high school not too far away from here, so I know Del Mar pretty well. There is Cathedral Catholic High School where I went to high school, Torrey Pines High School, and Canyon Crest Academy, all on the same street. I think it's Del Mar Heights Boulevard or Del Mar Heights Road. What a beautiful scene and great school district over here. And with that, there's just a laid back vibe over here. I mean, with a typical beach town and comparing the beach towns here versus the mountain towns or mountain neighborhoods over in Denver, just comparing those two, a lot of people are just hanging out and it's midday Friday. I think this wouldn't be any different if it was like midday on a Tuesday, going to Whole Foods and driving their Maseratis or convertibles. There's a lot of old money here and a lot of renters here. But the people that live here are, they've been here for like 20 years, maybe even 30 years with their paid off beach house and maybe some investors here as well. But there's a reason why people want to keep buying property over here and they want to keep living here. We'll do a couple of snapshots. I'll walk on the beach a little bit, but just this park behind me is such an attraction. So with that being said, you're easily looking at houses here, approximately 1.2, 1.5, maybe even 2 million here, because it's literally looking at the beach right behind or right in front of me behind the camera. Yeah, so it's a beautiful scene here. And I think the most liked neighborhood in the Denver area is this one. What's really cool about Del Mar is all the shops right here. It's pretty amazing like how much of a small town feel it is. And the beach is literally walkable distance, maybe 5 minutes. So yeah, it's everything you want just for hanging out and spending a whole day here with boutique shops. What's up guys? I'd say the best comparison for Del Mar is probably Golden, and here I am over at Clear Creek. It is an amazing scene over here. I mean, look at the water. Honestly, I haven't spent too much time in the restaurant scene or maybe even the coffee scene, but I definitely go here for the nature. I mean, people are walking, running, biking, and enjoying themselves just being in the great outdoors without leaving too far into the mountains. I mean, Golden is maybe like 15 minutes before you actually head out into the mountains, and this place is a great taste of what it is like over in the mountain area. And a little bit more personal for me, I think it's one of my life goals and bucket list items to buy a property in Golden and just live there. Not just as an investment property, but for me and my family, I would absolutely love this area to just live out my days and enjoy the mountains. So with the Golden area in general, you definitely are looking at a higher price point. And it is a very tight-knit community as well, where you got farmers markets, you got a Goldens in Golden, where they bring in a whole bunch of golden retrievers all across the Denver metro area and just hang out It's funny, I think it was like 800 golden retrievers were at the last one in February of 2024, and they have it annually. So next time, go check out Goldens in Golden to just scratch that dog itch if you're interested in hanging out with other dogs, especially golden retrievers. So yeah, people absolutely love this area. Like they're hanging out here, they inner tube down here, and I would not be surprised if we actually saw someone going down in inner tubes while I'm talking here with you. So specifically with Golden, the home price is around $800,000 to $900,000. There's not too much inventory here. A lot of people that want to live here stay here for a long period of time, especially with the Golden Mines, the Mines School. It's a college that's specific in the geosciences, structural, geology and all that good stuff. And I've heard about it when I was trying to find out my college, and a lot of people love it too. Around this time, it's graduating season, so like June 5th right now, or June 4th, there's a lot of graduations happening, and everyone is more than happy to come to Golden to celebrate everyone's graduation. So yeah, this is all glacier runoff. It's an absolutely lovely place. I cannot get out of this mental state of, hey, Golden is a fantastic place, and you should definitely experience it for yourself. Much like Del Mar, where you got to experience the San Diego beaches, Golden is one of those places where you got to experience, especially coming from the Denver metro area. So we're going to move on to the next spot that we're going to be comparing the San Diego area versus the Denver area. Welcome to Adams Avenue in San Diego. I absolutely love this place, and maybe I am slightly biased because my first house hack and investment property was just down the street this way, right off 35th Street, and we would often walk just coming here for Blind Lady Ale House for some pizza and great beers, comedy nights, Nozaru ramen, Mariposa ice cream, and everything in between. We absolutely love this street. There's something going on pretty much every single night, even on a Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, especially with karaoke and just live bands happening throughout Adams Avenue. There are a couple schools here, and there's constantly new development. I mean, with apartment complexes and like people just flooding into the area of San Diego, people look no further than Adams Avenue once they see that this place is very walkable. And this is something that I really enjoy, especially as an investor myself. I want to make sure that I'm investing in places where people are moving to. You know, if we have more people coming into the area, then I'm not worried about vacancy. Rent is going to constantly come up, and knowing that my home is going to be in demand year round. So with Adams Avenue, there's several blocks, maybe like a dozen blocks where people just walk by, enjoy their time outside with, maybe it's not so sunny right now, but with the overcast here happening in San Diego, and it's pretty normal, especially in the May, maybe even June timeframe. I mean, nonetheless, it's beautiful out here. You're looking at 65, maybe 70 degrees, and it's not like I need a jacket on or anything, and people are just enjoying their time here in the Adams Avenue area. What's also really nice about Adams Avenue is that you have access to so many of the major freeways, like the 15 on the east side, the 805, and you could get pretty much anywhere in San Diego just from this street right here, right behind me, Adams Avenue. And just to give you a little bit of context on why I know the area so well is because, like I said, I live not too far, or I used to live not too far away, and my investment property is just down the street here. A lot of Navy people are coming into San Diego and they need a place to stay, right? And they're getting a stipend from the government, and we currently have Navy tenants or tenants that are currently working in the Navy living in my investment property just down the street. And so with the beautiful weather and the, I guess, accommodations for, you know, homeless people, there are a couple of spots where there are homeless people, and I'm not saying that San Diego is perfect, but there are some places where you should be concerned with, let's say, the homeless population. And it's definitely not as rampant. I mean, Denver is not as rampant as the San Diego homeless population. So, I mean, if I was homeless, I'd probably live in San Diego as well. If not there, then I would probably go to Hawaii. I mean, at least there it's tropical, and I'd be able to take advantage of the beach as well. So nonetheless, Adams Avenue is a great place for you to just get some great food, have a nightlife, and enjoy yourself and introduce people that are not normally accustomed to the city life of San Diego. If they're especially used to the beach life, this is a great alternative if people just want to have that nightlife a little bit more inland than the typical beach scene in San Diego. So with that being said, let's go to the Denver counterpart of Adams Avenue. And I think it's pretty similar in that regard, so I think you'll have a good time of translating Adams Avenue to this place.
Oh, I forgot to mention that with a lot of people moving here, there's a ton of ADUs. So that's something that me and my wife are looking to develop here in our first investment property here in San Diego. I mean, putting 2 more ADUs for our place would just be fantastic, and we wouldn't have any problem finding renters for our property. So yeah, that's very common, especially here in San Diego. There is a housing shortage. What's up everyone? We are over at Cesar Chavez Park, not too far away, actually literally right on Tennyson Street. I absolutely love this area, especially with all the restaurants, the provisions, the drinks, the gelato, the Jewish delis. Honestly, there's so much here that you can enjoy just being a partaker and just a Denverite here, and not too many people know about it unless you actually live here. Much like Adams Avenue back in San Diego, there's just so many walkable areas that you could just, you know, hang out and enjoy with your friends. If you need to do some shopping, there's a whole bunch of boutique shops, and if you want to just hang out with your friends at brunch, there is that as well. Some of my favorite restaurants here are Call Your Mother, Bakery 4, great pastries over there, Hops and Pie, Gelato Boy for my gelatos. You know, I'm a sucker for that ice cream, and I just love that sweet tooth stuff. Also Emporium, just right over here, is an excellent place, like a tap room, and you know how Denver loves their beers. Tennyson Street is definitely accommodating for that. So in this general area, there's not too many homeowners. I would consider this place more of a renter feel, and a lot of people that want to experience Denver experience it like this, where they don't have to be so tied down with buying a home here. They can just rent out a condo, let's say a 2-bed, 1-bath, and just enjoy the walkability of it all and drive their Lime scooters or Bird scooters around and just enjoy the scene that way. It is a little bit more tucked into the Denver area with traffic, and it's a Monday afternoon. Right now it's 5 p.m. There's not too many people on Tennyson Street, but getting here was definitely a challenge. I'd say it was like a good 35 minutes for maybe 10 miles of driving. And much like Adams Avenue over in San Diego, there is something for everyone here. Right behind me is a children's park. Cesar Chavez Park has also this wide field area for your dogs. Of course, keep them on leash. They're pretty strict about that here. Yeah, just very accommodating for all walks of life and for all ages. Last thing I want to bring up here is a lot of development is happening here as well. I feel like this is a common thing here in the Denver area, but it is true. So right behind me is a commercial building that's being built. I believe it's a credit union coming up soon, or maybe they're just looking for rents or people to rent out or lease out that space. And also over right here is a new restaurant, brunch. I believe it goes into dinner as well, called Two Hands. Looks like it's got some really cool espresso, cappuccino, also like breakfast feels, espresso martinis, that sort of thing, for you to experience brunch the right way. So that being said, yeah, there's a lot of similarities between Adams Avenue and Tennyson Street here in Denver. So what do you think? Is there any sort of differences you see, or do you have any other questions about anything that I've shown so far? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to just detail them out. I currently live in Denver, and I lived in San Diego for 30 years. I feel like I can help you out in that regard. And so now on to our last spot in San Diego, and comment down below if you want to hear more of these comparisons with San Diego versus Denver because I could go on all day. I feel like I barely even scratched the surface with everything that's going on within the Denver area and the California area, or San Diego more specific. So nonetheless, we are here in Kensington. Kensington is a beautiful neighborhood, lots of character here, even with all the houses that just have that Pueblo feel, the homemade, I've lived in it, like I live there kind of feel. Like there's a pride in ownership in this area, and I can truly appreciate that versus, let's say, the mid-century modern. Sometimes you just get too used to it, or like it becomes monotonous, you know? I love a house that's been lived in and has that character with it all. And so this place is not too far away from Adams Avenue, and with it, the character sort of bleeds into the proximal areas where, like Kensington, there's, you know, a lot of charm in Adams Avenue that comes into here. The gardens are amazing. There's hardly any lawns here. Like, the lawns are xeriscaped, the plants look amazing, and there's like cacti and, you know, palm trees, a lot of plants that are suited for this kind of neighborhood or this kind of area. So with that, there's a lot of demand in the Kensington area, and with that demand, you're looking at a price point of about $1.6 million here in this area. And it's not too far away from the closest highway, I believe, is the 15. With the 15 freeway, you know, you get easy access to a lot of places in San Diego. So the last thing I want to say about Kensington is that there are a lot of houses that have that hidden ADU or that duplex that I was talking about earlier. With San Diego in general, and I guess California in general, there's just a housing shortage. A lot of people want to move to the state or want to move into the city, but there's just not enough housing. Inventory is just a common problem, not just in San Diego, but also in Denver. And so ADUs are the next best solution for it. And sometimes you see these addresses, like two addresses right next to each other on one home, and sometimes it's like a converted garage or an ADU that's just hidden in the backyard. So that's exactly what ours looks like, not too far away from here. But like I said earlier, I absolutely love this place. There is a comparable neighborhood that has that same charm where the owners of these homes take advantage of the environment, or at least the climate that, you know, is where it's at. For example, let's say for San Diego, there's not much water. You know, it's more of a chaparral, almost a desert, with how much precipitation you get from like rain and things like that. So this Kensington area is very attractive, and there is a part of Denver that comes to mind that is very comparable to the Kensington area that we're in right now. So we're going to be going over to that, and it's in the sense of comparable where there's a pride of ownership. The house has character versus that mid-century modern, like black and white, stainless steel appliances, things like that. It just makes it feel more like a home, and I know exactly the spot that reminds me of Kensington. So let's go over to there. Welcome to the beautiful Wash Park, and I have to say it's always a pleasure coming back to this park. It's one of my favorites. Just circling around the whole perimeter of the park is about 2.5 miles, and everyone's biking, walking, running. They're getting out, they're enjoying the exercise, just enjoying the great outdoors, especially during the summer season. What's really neat about Wash Park is that it's so central to the greater Denver area as well. You're minutes away from downtown. You can take the 25 up north, down south, and just get anywhere where you need to within, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 minutes. The growing sense of community is amazing here, and the houses are pretty cool too. Like, it's that nice mix of modern but classic, like almost late 1800s builds to like early 1900s. And it just has so much character to this area, and I feel like it's almost the epitome of what Denver's all about, especially with just being outside, being outdoors, but still not being too far away from the city. If you really want to get away from the city, you just go out to the mountains. There's a lot of really cool amenities here in the Wash Park area as well. Right behind me is some tennis courts, there's some basketball courts right behind that, and also a cool playground over to my right. Honestly, it's fun for all people of all ages, and if you're just tired of going to the park, or if you're just all tuckered out from being in the sun, there are some really cool shops and boutique shops just around the perimeter of the park. And honestly, me as a real estate agent, I just love looking at homes themselves, you know? There's a lot of cool character here, and it just has that charm of, I can't better define it than just Wash Park. So these homes in the Wash Park area are around 1.2 to 1.6 million, depending on the beds, baths, and all that good stuff. And days on market is hovering around 20 to 30 days on market. And this specific market right now in June of 2024. So yeah, comparing it to Kensington over in San Diego, you got the strong community feel, you got the wonderful looking homes, the parks not too far away, and a lot of the boutique shops that both Kensington and Wash Park both pride themselves in. So with that being said, let's move on to the next location and comparing San Diego versus Denver. Oh, and before I forget, make sure you go check out Wash Park. Right here, this corner coffee shop. It's been in the community for decades now. And number one, I love their seasonal coffees like lavender or pumpkin lattes, things like that. And especially if you're just taking a stroll around Wash Park, it's an excellent place to stop first. And then, yeah, if you have an appreciation for puns as well, Wash Park is the name of this shop right next to Wash Park. For any of you who have watched Friends, the coffee shop that they hung out at was Central Perk, right next to Central Park. So I don't know, I really enjoy it, and I love just giving money to the community and just helping out the smaller businesses. Hopefully you do as well. All right, we're back in San Diego, more specifically East La Jolla. It's on the border of La Jolla, Mira Mesa, UTC, and what a beautiful mall this is. I just took a loop around, and they're constantly putting more and more money, more buildings, more developments into this area, and there's no doubt about it, it's attractive. You got really cool restaurants and the brands that you know and love, like Warby Parker, Rolex, Tesla, so many other fashion brands and boutique shops as well. I absolutely love it here, and I think it was like 10, maybe 15 years ago, they did a whole revamp of the UTC area. Now it looks luxurious. It's fantastic over here. So I will say that the comparison that I want to compare UTC to in Denver is not going to be an apples to apples comparison, because this is more of a luxurious kind of setup, right? And with it being a completely outdoor space, I mean, San Diego, you got to take advantage of the weather here. But over in Denver, you do have winter time, and you want to make sure that you have people wanting to go shop even in the winter time. So I will compare it with a couple of places in Denver, but nonetheless, UTC has really cool shopping and mall experience, and the area surrounding it, the UTC area, it has that upper class feel to it. And a lot of people want to live here just because it's La Jolla. La Jolla is minutes away from the beach, very much similar to the Denver, or sorry, not Denver, but Del Mar area. And with it, in Sorrento Valley and also the Mira Mesa area, you got a lot of biotech and medical, I guess, businesses and startups happening in this area. So with that, a lot of money is coming into it, a lot of investors are coming around, and even the biotech buildings, even if it's not specifically in UTC, there's just money pouring into it. And with that, it's just becoming more and more attractive as the years go on. So yeah, there's a medical campus here too, like UCSD, like University of California, San Diego, is really big on their biology, tech, biotech, and also their health and medical campuses. I mean, you have UCSD Health, UCSD hospitals all around the San Diego area, and it's just a constant driver for job growth, employer growth, and just very attractive for a lot of outside investors to come into San Diego, even just people trying to relocate here. The thing is that you're going to need dual income for the average American family in order to live, especially in the UTC area. And more importantly, I guess just San Diego in general. All right, so now we're gonna go over my comparison with the Denver area as I leave UTC. Like I said, beautiful place, and there's even a railway system that just got installed here. And it wasn't here when I was living here in La Jolla, or not La Jolla, but San Diego. So a lot of updates here, but let's see what the comparison is over in the Denver area. Welcome to the Denver Tech Center over at the Bellevue station. The train is just right there, the light rail over here. I love this place because it is so close to the freeway, very accessible, and some of my favorite restaurants and just places to eat are not too far away. The Corvus Coffee, Yampa sandwiches, a lot of the lunch spots are over here, and that's mainly because a lot of the area around, like surrounding it, is all like tech related. There's a lot of businesses and a lot of startups that start right here in DTC. And not only that, but there's a bunch of other restaurants here. Let's say Pliable, which is like an acai bowl place. A lot of the dog food lovers or dog lovers definitely love this place because there's a dog park with like accommodating for all the condos that are not too far away. And if you just want to have more of that city life but not actually be in the city, this is definitely an attraction for people to just be around it and be in the center of it all, and not too far away from the highway for people to access the city of Denver. So I've mentioned a couple times what makes DTC pretty similar to what UTC is like. So UTC, the University Town Center over in La Jolla, has a lot of, let's say, medical campuses, biotech not too far away, and it has that city of La Jolla. So La Jolla is very attractive, and it automatically raises the price point of houses in that area. DTC, which is Denver Tech Center, is a little bit different, but still pretty similar. So how is it similar? It's similar in the fact that it's easily accessed via the highways and also has a rail line or light rail not too far away. Over in San Diego, it's the MTS. Here in Denver, it's the RTD that stops at Bellevue Station. Regarding price points, there's definitely a discrepancy between the two places, between Denver Tech Center and University Town Center. DTC has a lot more condos, and I guess the surrounding area, is a little bit more like La Jolla, where you got the single family homes priced around, let's say, $650,000 to $800,000, depending on what neighborhood you're looking at within Centennial. Let's say La Jolla, it's more of like 1.1 to 1.5 for the single family homes in those areas, especially if they have that beach view. You're definitely guaranteeing that higher price point. So there you have it. That's a little bit about how DTC and UTC are very similar between each other. There's still a lot of money that's coming into the area, and specifically in the DTC area. Just behind me over here, there's a bunch of condos and just the foundations being laid for those huge complexes, just because the demand is pretty high here. So with that being said, let's go on to the next spot in comparing San Diego versus Denver.